I will protect. A word remindful of the days when knights wore armor to defend their walled cities against invaders. Family trouble. About 20% of the calls that come into the station are family trouble. And this was Joe's first call. Joe had visions of being a hero, of defending some frail little woman whose husband was mistreating her. But in this case, Joe was told by a ruffled lady of the house to mind his own business.
A Corpus Christi police officer has been fired after she was arrested for driving drunk and crashing into another car. According to CCPD, 32-year-old Elise Tamez was traveling on South Padre Island Drive near Carroll Lane when she hit another vehicle Sunday night. The driver in that car wasn't injured. Officers say Tamez was intoxicated and was arrested for DWI. Now, her bond was set at $1,000. She was released from jail this morning. Thomas had graduated from the police academy only in February.
A Palatka police officer finds himself on the wrong side of the law. We just received this photo of the officer who was arrested for DUI while operating a marked police car. That officer had been identified as Orestes Casio.
He's been with the Palatka Police Department since May of 2016. News4Jax reporter Eric Gavinet is live outside the Palatka Police Department, where the police chief handed this case over to FHP for transparency. So, Eric, what have you been able to find out there in Palatka?
Well, I found out that Officer Casio was off duty during the time of his arrest. Now, his fellow officers here at Palatka PD say that when they located him, he was sitting behind the wheel of his parked patrol car and that he appeared intoxicated. It was at this mobile gas station on Reed Street in Palatka where police say a concerned citizen called 911 to report a possible DUI involving police officer Orestes Casio, who was out of uniform but behind the wheel of a marked patrol car. An eyewitness who asked not to be identified says this is where that patrol car was parked. He also says that he and several other people noticed that something wasn't right with the officer.
He staggered.
He was staggering.
Yeah.
And it was that noticeable.
Yeah. He was drunk, man. He was drunk.
The concerned citizen who called 911 followed the officer out of the gas station and down Reed Street for several blocks, then lost him. Moments later, fellow officers located the police car parked in a lot. They say Officer Casio was behind the wheel and appeared intoxicated. A supervising officer called FHP to the scene. The trooper conducted a sobriety test, then arrested.
An East Point police officer found himself on the other side of the law tonight. This after a 5-hour standoff with SWAT in a Noonan neighborhood early on Sunday.
Tonight, East Point police confirmed that 20-year veteran of the force, Robert Gray, is behind bars. Fox 5's Will Nunley has details now from Coweta County.
We're told that East Point officer Robert Gray remains in custody here tonight in Coweta County. So far, the charge is burglary in the first degree. This all stems from a call that police received late Saturday, early Sunday at a home here in Noonan. We're told that officers arrived to find Gray inside someone's home. He was reportedly not complying with officers at first, so SWAT was called. After about 5 hours, police say Gray surrendered peacefully. No one was injured. It's still unclear tonight what led up to all of this. We are told this was domestic in nature. Authorities say more charges could be pending. This is a look at his mugshot.
A Melbourne police officer arrested, accused of trying to pay for sex while on the job.
The police chief saying the bad apples in his department, they got to be weeded out. Fox 35's Holly Bristow. She's live with more on this news alert. Holly.
Well, Bob, Officer Sean Archibald was arrested right here in this parking lot, right in front of the Melbourne Police Department early this morning by officers from his own police department after the chief says undercover investigators watch Archibald solicit what he thought was a prostitute for sex in exchange for $40 this morning. With several members of the department standing by his side, Police Chief Steve Mims held a news conference, letting the public know that Melbourne police arrested and charged one of their own with prostitution.
But I take these allegations, these charges very seriously. This kind of thing cannot be tolerated in the Melbourne Police Department or in law enforcement in general.
This all went down around 4 this morning on Harbor City Boulevard near Jernigan Drive. Chief Mims says 27-year-old officer Sean Archibald was on duty in his marked patrol car wearing his uniform when he approached an undercover operative who he thought was a prostitute and made a deal to pay her $40 for sex. Chief says undercover officers kept an eye on Archibald as he went to get cash from this nearby ATM and watched as Archibald went back to where he agreed to meet the woman. But as he approached, dispatch asked Archibald to return to headquarters, and when he pulled into the PD, he was arrested.
Is this embarrassing, disappointing? How would you qualify this?
All the above.
Chief Mims says 4 months ago, a prostitute told police that Officer Archibald was soliciting working women while he was on the job.
As these allegations came about, we start trying to watch what he's doing, try to get an idea as to how this might be occurring through surveillance.
Bruce Buggs owns this funeral home near where Chief says Archibald was soliciting sex early this morning.
Prostitutes that have been working this area for quite a bit, a long time, all the way from University up to Crane Creek. Well, it's an issue that needs to be addressed.
He was surprised to hear an officer was arrested, accused of contributing to the problem.
It's just very unfortunate, you know, that took place, you know, so we'll just keep them, all of those people involved in prayer.
Upon his arrest, Archibald was immediately suspended from his job here at the police department. They're now going through the proper channels to terminate him permanently from the department. He is already out of bail. He posted his $500 bond first thing this morning and walked out as the sun was coming up. Reporting at Melbourne Police Headquarters, Holly Bristow, Fox 35 News.